Hi, my name is Dan Morrison, and with this video, I want to begin to educate all people towards remembering some old principles of governance that need to be made new again, if we are to achieve the prosperity we desire, and also stop the continuing oppression that is expanding upon each future generation. Through the passage of time, we have been led to accept some false principles regarding models of governance. For this reason, let me take you back to a beginning. Long ago, when organized government did not exist, our ancestors lived in a lawless freedom that required them to spend great energy protecting themselves from those who would seek to take their lives, their freedom, and their property. Because of this effort to protect all that our ancestors could achieve, prosperity was very limited. There simply wasn't enough time in a day to protect and to earn. But being wise, our ancestors decided to team up to strengthen their chance at increased production towards greater prosperity. Simply put, they realized that protection of life, liberty, and property was very time-consuming and limited the ability to grow personal wealth. So they decided to hire someone to assist them in applying the protective needs they required. Lucky for them, a trusted individual lived close by, and she gladly accepted the job, which was great, because her acceptance immediately created what we call government. And this was a great arrangement, and one that a man named Frederic Bastiat understood and wrote about in his book titled The Law in 1850 AD, saying, quote, "If every person has the right to defend, even by force, his person, his liberty, and his property, then it follows that a group of people have the right to organize and support a common force to protect these rights constantly. Thus the principle of collective right, its reason for existing, its lawfulness, is based upon individual right." End quote. And so, by delegating the role of protection to a hired hand, our ancestors used their newfound time to produce wealth like never before. Now let's fast forward this arrangement into the future and apply a simple test to determine if this continued proper model of governance will be maintained. Let's suppose that many years later, a traveler walks by the protected lands of our ancestors, and seeing the great wealth created by them, marvels at the tremendous accomplishments from their hard work. Seeing our ancestors' hired protector, the traveler wanders over to her and says, "Look at all the abundance accomplished here. I, having nothing, have great need, and these people have so very, very much. Surely you can give me some of their substance, so that I too, having nothing, can enjoy life like those who have risked, labored, and prospered." This simple request strikes at the very heart of proper governance, and the action to follow determines whether it will stand or fall. What do you think, viewer? Can our ancestors' hired employee freely give the traveler the substance our ancestors have worked to produce? Of course not. All those who are hired by the people have only the authority to act in accordance to the will of the people who have hired them. Now, certainly our ancestors can individually and or collectively give to the traveler through their own charity, but they alone make that choice. Or our ancestors can instruct those hired to give, but only within the quantities they instruct. Those hired by the people simply cannot claim the authority to redistribute others' wealth, or force the people who hired them into charity against their will. Why, you ask? Because government is created by the people, comprising both men and women, and in a proper model of democratic governance, no man or woman possess the lawful ability to take from another, and so they cannot give power to others to do it for them. Because if those hired are allowed to act outside of the directions given them by the people who are their creators, then acts of oppression and or forced takeover of individual rights will be the end result, and such acts cannot ever be tolerated by the people. This story, about a beginning our ancestors experienced, represents the proper model of governance. Have we, the people, protected ourselves and maintained it? Or have we allowed elected government to overreach its authority? Stay tuned for the next video, where I will answer this and show you why we are experiencing a generational slide towards oppression, and what we can immediately do to correct it.